I think it is late. It is time for dinner, and we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4 people to go through. And I think the dinner and drinks is waiting. So I will also try and keep it short. So I don't have a presentation, but I just wanted to give you a perspective on cloud in healthcare and how we are leveraging it. So the problem statement for healthcare in India, if you look at it, is that 70% of all beds of facilities available are in the urban or tier 1 to tier 3 cities, while 70% of patients or people who need it are actually in the rural scenario. There is a challenge on medical talent, on quantity and quality of medical talent, and also where you can take the medical talent. People, doctors prefer being in the urban setting, in the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 environment, and a problem to go into the rural. There is an affordability question. Healthcare, though in India is one of the cheapest in the world, it is still expensive from an Indian context. There is an access and reach challenge. People who need access or do not get it because the healthcare service doesn't reach them. Now, what is the cloud that it does and what have we done with it? So as an organization, we looked at last year to actually solve a couple of business problems, and the outcome of which was to say we decided we would move from infrastructure on the physical world or co-located world into the public cloud. Not private, but the public cloud. What it has helped us do is, it has actually given us benefits on the ability to scale on demand at an optimum price point. So costs have come down while our flexibility has scaled. It has given us actually performance that is required from an end user standpoint, not IT, and I would come to this point a little later. And it is secure as security is defined, with privacy and security defined, because the regulation side is also important. The side effect of this is that we have actually ended up, in IT traditionally we buy servers, we think boxes, we set up data centers like the, Secretary IT and the additional secretary also spoke of. We think of the traditional world and we buy hardware, we buy infrastructure, we set it up. What this has helped us do is, it has helped us actually streamline our own internal processes. We don't buy anymore. We actually procure on demand. When we need capacity, we scale up, and we can scale down in a minute. If my application on a Saturday, for example, is the peak load time in our hospitals. Earlier, if you wanted to cater to peak load time, I would have had to buy twice the number of servers and hardware and maintain it. Now we don't do it anymore. Only on Saturday mornings, if we have flexibility to scale up the application or infrastructure, and Saturday evening scale it down. It's on demand when you want it. You can also do it automatically. So your serviceability from a performance from an end user standpoint, consumer standpoint is maintained. It has saved us money, which is actually helping us give it back to business to either reduce cost of services we provide or actually invest in more services that can be given to consumers. From a regulatory standpoint, and I sat through about 1.5 sessions before this, security, privacy, regulations are a reality of our life. I think regulations as they stand right now, we have to comply with laws and regulations that abide. But security and privacy are more a state of mind than they are reality. There is no difference between what you do in a data or a server which is in your premise vis-a-vis what you do in a server which is put in a central data center, vis-a-vis what you will do on a server or a virtual machine which is lying somewhere where you don't know. The only difference that comes in there is, where is the server lying? Is it in your country or is it outside? And that's a regulatory question which comes into play. Apart from that, you can put in the same infrastructure for security, same controls for privacy. Exactly the same thing that you do on a physical server in your control, you can do on a virtual server lying somewhere else. It is more a question of how do you look at it and what perceptions you get. The challenge here is actually from people like me who are IT folks who head IT, and IT professionals want the physical box, think of it that way, and we think of everything in that term. I quite liked what the additional secretary had said in his keynote. I think what we need to focus on is the view from an end user standpoint. Because as soon as you take a view from the end user standpoint on what they require from IT or from the system, the decisions and the perspectives change. In fact, what we went out in Fortis to do is, once we did this cloud journey, we realized that what is critical here is actually also solving our connectivity issue, solving our perception issues or performance issues from the end user standpoint. We actually engage with all our service partners on the network side, on the facility management side, help desk, etc., etc. And we redid all our engagements on a service outcome basis. So we said we are not, SLAs don't matter. SLAs is irrelevant, that's more an IT standpoint. What matters is an end user, for example, able to consume an application service when he or she wants to do it, at the performance level that he and she wants. And from an end user, if you were to simply look, you go to the internet, what matters to us is the site opening, and is it opening as per the speed that we want, that we believe. If it is 100 millisecond or 1 second is fine, but if it's 5 seconds, you feel the difference. So what you define as performance from an end user is what matters. What doesn't matter is what jitters are there in the network, what is the RTO, what is happening at the network level. What matters is one, am I able to consume the service at the performance level that is needed for me as an end consumer, not as IT. So when we flipped over our view from thinking from IT standpoint to thinking from what end user wants, in our case it was doctors, nurses, our operating people, our management folks, etc., and our customers in some cases, our decision on IT completely changed. And that was one of the key things where the public cloud actually made a lot of sense. Because like to like, what we saw was from a performance, from a support, and from a availability standpoint, like to like there was no difference. It added a lot of benefit on flexibility and on costs. Economics became much better. Apart from that, technically it doesn't matter if we have a mainframe running or a 486 box or a x86 machine running in the backend. Till my performance is being met, it should not matter from an end user standpoint, and we consciously took that call. We have realized a lot of benefits that come into it. It has enabled us to actually, like I said, so one thing is we don't plan anymore. We don't need to. So that overhead of management overhead within the function of capacity planning, SLA management, AMC management, etc., has all disappeared. It is now someone else's problem. So we are now, the time saved there, my team and me are spending more on focusing on solving business problems than on running IT. It has added a lot of cost benefits to us, which we are plowing back into doing newer things for our customers and offering them services which previously were not available or possible. It has significantly reduced our ability to offer new services. So, if you were to look at it, the cloud, end of the day, is actually just a data center somewhere, and you offer services of it. Now, you can do it from an infrastructure level, or you can do it at the upper end from a services or software as a service standpoint. So, we are moving a lot to the software as a service model, where our ability to actually scale a service, open 5 more hospitals and bring them online instantly, or not instantly, but within a very short period of time, has expanded. When we roll out a service, we have a central control. The Secretary IT also spoke. We also have 30 applications, in same application in 30 versions running across. How do you bring it up together into one place and bring control and consistency of customer experience? Because that is what it translates into by the end of it. And for us, a customer was the patient or an attendant or even the internal employee who's working on the application. Significant benefits will come. I think what has also happened is that with the benefits that have been delivered from this, we have our business, our management has actually said we need to do much more to scale up. So the confidence from the function per se has gone up. It has helped us become more on business people than become IT people. And I think that is a big change which is driving industry per se now, where the IT function is being looking to solve real business problems. But that only happens when you actually solve, contribute and think of it as a business from that standpoint. The last one, I want to share an example, and I think regulation is something which is very important. So in the tsunami that hit Japan in a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, so Japan had a very interesting regulatory issue on health records. Japan has, like we have districts and states, they have prefectures in the country. What Japan had was, as per law, the medical records of an individual could only be stored in the prefecture that the patient was resident in. It could not be taken outside. When the tsunami hit, a lot of these prefectures were impacted, especially on the coastal side, and a lot of medical records were wiped out. They got lost. The reason for that was that, one, they could only do backups in the prefectures. The prefectures were small, they weren't very large. There was a lot of paper-based medical records or even electronic that was there. Third, the biggest impact for them was they have a very high aging population, because of which the continuity of care for the patient got impacted. So it was a wake-up call for the government of Japan, but what they did was they looked at it in a different way. They didn't think of, they were first thinking security, privacy, they changed that perspective to risk and risk mitigation. When you look at risk, they changed the laws and regulations and said now they are allowed that data to be actually stored somewhere else. I think that is a thinking that needs to be incorporated into, imbibed into how we also think as a country, because health or any other data which is stored is confidential, it's private, it's critical, it's a national resource for that matter. But it needs to be in the context of the risk it poses to actually put the regulation in place. I think I just wanted to share a few perspectives of where we were coming from as a private organization and how we've benefited from using the cloud. And I would stop here now. Thank you very much.